Hey YouTube, Shelka04 here. So I've got a buddy who's building an underground house out of shipping containers. And whether you're going to build an underground house like this, or if you're going to build yourself a bunker, I want to talk to you about 3 mistakes that I think he's made so that you can avoid these in the future if this is a project you're going to undertake yourself. I gotta say though that I haven't built one of these myself. So the 3 mistakes I'm going to point out, while they seem straightforward and obvious, they're based solely on opinion and conjecture, and I have yet to do this myself. Let's talk about number 1. No foundation. The shipping containers are sitting right on terra firma, which means that they apparently were a real bitch to level and square up. But there's the drainage thing going on underneath, and when and if you get a nice hard rain, I would worry that the containers will settle independent of one another, and that what you'll wind up having is 1 or 2 of the shipping containers ripping loose from their neighbors. So if it were me, what I would have done was I would have poured probably a footing across the front and one across the back, and then had the containers lowered onto those with the crane. So that's the first thing. No foundation. Second thing is the way this wall has been shored up, and the plan is to backfill this with gravel. But I am under the impression that shipping containers have their strength primarily in the 4 posts that make up the corners. And it's the rigid or the corrugated walls that give them some of the stacking strength, but not some of the strength of a force pressing into the side. That's why anybody I've seen who's done this has come at it long ways with 2 rows of either 3 or 4 inch angle or 3 or 4 inch square tubing that they then either bolt or weld onto the sides. That way when you backfill, you don't wind up crumpling the side of your shipping container in. So number 2, my concern is the questionable bracing on the outside. Then the third and final question or mistake is this shipping container weighs 8,640 pounds empty. That's roughly 4 tons, right? So in an effort to lighten the thing up, my buddy cut the walls out of the center container first, and then had a crane come in, and the crane was underpowered, so it was barely able to get the middle container into place. But what does that mean in the long or grand scheme of things? Well, I'll tell you this. When they came with the crane and rigged up the center shipping container to move it into place, without the walls intact, the thing wound up drooping in the center like an old horse. And you can see that here along the cut edge versus the intact shipping container wall. There's still probably a 2-inch difference between the 2 levels, and I don't know how he's going to address that. On the upper edge, he pushed the drooping edge up into place and then tack welded it from above. But without access underneath, there's no way to jack up the drooping floor. You might be able to pull that up, but I don't know. So, long story short, I think he went cheap on the crane and got an underpowered crane that couldn't lift an intact shipping container into place. And that's going to, well, it's definitely slowed down the project, but it's going to haunt him in the long run. So again, what are the 3 things at this point that I think are issues of concern? No foundation, questionable shoring on the outer perimeter, and skimping on the crane, and basically putting a shipping container in position that's already sagging. Because as I said, on the outside bracing, I think what you would want to have done would have been to have run angle or I-beams across the top, welded those into place, or I-beams underneath and welded those into place, and then cut your shipping container walls out. But it's a live and learning process, so we'll see how this makes out over time. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Otherwise, we'll talk to you later. Shelka04 out. Have a nice day. Oh, and please subscribe. Helps me know what people are interested in, and it's motivating. All right, talk to you later. Bye.